Those nodes, they live in the left side or in the left panel, and you can just drag them onto the canvas. They stay where you let them go, and if you decide that you want to move them around, you can always reorder them. Those nodes, they have connection points, and the connection points, they can be grabbed and they can be connected to any other node or to any other connector, basically. You can also delete the connected node. I changed some things and broke stuff on Windows. I'm on Windows now. I fixed stuff on Mac and I didn't realize I broke stuff. I will fix it again. But yeah, the selected node gets highlighted. You can Control Z, Control V, and you can copy and paste. And you have the top menu where you have like additional file or operations in general. So if we go into the edit mode here, we could undo stuff, we could redo stuff if we do a mistake. We could select all, and then we could copy all nodes and have like a big workflow that we're building like this.
Can I ask you something quickly? You mentioned that you developed this as a side project. I guess most when you in your work you don't use this tool. Maybe you have some workflows you are thinking to simplify and use it because mainly I think you use Python, right? And other tools. Uh, but let's ask everyone who's watching. I would love to hear from you guys. If you're using Dynamo or Grasshopper, just type in the chat, Grasshopper or Dynamo. I'd love to hear that. If not, just say nothing. And yeah, maybe IFC-flow is going to be the interesting one for you. What do you think? What do you think about what I just asked you, Louis?
Um, yes, it's true. Personally, I don't head to IFC flow like as a first measure. Um, I do run into like a recurring theme where
Uh,
I fix stuff for other people. And then sometimes I get tired of fixing it, especially because in IFC you tend to have to fix it again and again, especially if you have like a regular upload scheme or something like that. And yeah, my plan was or is to point customers, friends, and whoever to here and to enable them to solve like yeah, more or less tricky problems in IFC themselves.
I love it. So you want to remove the double work to stop repeating the same thing. I like that's
Yeah.
also what I try to do. When I get too many people asking me the same thing, I just record a video, and every time somebody asks me, go and watch this. So I love the mindset. You are doing more complex stuff, but yeah. When did you start? When did you publish this tool?
I don't actually know, but you can go to about and then head over to the Git repository. And here you have the full commit history. Um, so June 8th was the first commit.
Okay, so
Um,
it's like 2 months old. That's amazing. Are there already other contributors than you? Do you have any external contributor or not yet?
no, for now it's just me. And to be fair, I would say that it's still very much in a very how do you say dynamic state. This hasn't evolved as far to like be called stable or anything like that. I still change a lot of stuff around, and
Mhm.
then it's pretty difficult for other people to jump in.
I
But
understand, makes
yeah,
sense.
if anybody has any ideas, more than welcome to have a chat.
Great. Keep going. Sorry for keep interrupting you.
No worries. Perfectly fine for me. So yeah, just a few more general things. We just had a look at the About menu. I also added some documentation where you first of all have stuff about individual nodes, so you can find out how they work. So definitely a starting point if you want to get your feet wet here. I'd say it's a must to at least have a look through here. There's keyboard shortcuts that you can also use or not. There's like a small tutorial on a typical workflow where I load an IFC, do some stuff, explain how we can save and navigate the canvas. Just the bare minimum, I would say. If we then head over to the view tab to have like a more general overview. You can show the grids, which are these dotted points. I personally like to have grids off. And if you have a lot of nodes scattered all over the place, it's kind of nice to also show the minimap because then you know where you are in like a big workflow. You have it bottom right. So these are basically features of the open source library that I'm using. I didn't build all that Canvas stuff myself. This is using IFC-flow, a great library that allows building such Canvas things with like great customization features.
Hmm. Open source at its best, once
Yes.
again.
Um, this then makes it pretty easy to like implement different themes. So I have a boring theme that we're looking at right now. You can make it dark, but I personally like the less boring, a bit more funky way of having the UI.
Mhm.
And if you like the
Darker.
dark mode, that's probably the way to go for you.
This is the one that I use.
Me
Like it.
too.
Love it.
So yeah, let's stay here. That works fine for me. Uh, I think we got most of the stuff out of the way here. I will mention the rest once we get into actual workflows.
Mhm. Okay.
So yeah, with IFC, it usually starts with an IFC file. So I'm dropping an IFC node here. I can double click on it and then I can just load any IFC. I'm working on 4x3 right now, so that currently doesn't work, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
but soon.
Oh, that's great.
You can expand the node and get like some small statistics on what's inside there. So we have 477 actual build elements in the IFC that we loaded. And we could, for example, connect it to a viewer, press the play button top right to execute what is on the canvas. What happens here is that the IFC node, oops, shouldn't have done that. The IFC node sends the actual 3D data to the 3D viewer, which will then display the model.
Mhm.
In the 3D viewer, you can also double click to go into like a kind of an immersive view because it's difficult to know whether the user wants to move in the canvas or wants to move inside of the model. So
Mhm.
if you double click on it, you get into the immersive view and you cannot move the canvas anymore, except if you click outside, then it closes it again. You can move the model without going into immersive view, but especially with zooming, it tends to get a bit tricky. So double click and then you can
Mhm.
do everything you want in the model.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat, and I'll go after Louis finishes his presentation, and then I'll go over your questions and I'll ask him. So just write them there, um, even starting right now. Louis, can we click on objects in this model view, or is just to
No,
highlight, to filter some things and to,
yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty limited. It doesn't have like the standard viewer features with hide,
yeah,
unhide,
yeah.
navigate, etc.
It
It's
is to show a
basically
concept,
just
like to see visually like what we are doing in the other
exactly.
windows. Makes sense. It's still very powerful.
It gives like a visual snapshot of what's happening in the canvas,
Hmm.
and this gets especially relevant if you start to work with geometry.
Yeah, to see the result. If you filter something, if you modify something, if you, yeah,
Exactly.
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Um, I realize I forgot another important thing.
Yeah,
You see those batches
work in progress and
on the
new.
node. So yeah, some stuff is broken, some stuff doesn't work. I I it's been a conscious choice to have broken stuff out in the open,
Huh?
and to like kind of work in the open. And I've decided to yeah, give kind of hints
Hmm.
where to be a bit more tolerant if errors are happening.
Okay, but tell me something. Which one is the more advanced? Which is the older? The work in progress one or the new one? The new one you just created and it doesn't have anything much, not much, or is the other way around?
It's the other way around. I might have to make that clearer. So new nodes are finished,
Okay, so they are ready. They are
kind
new.
of.
Yeah, okay. They
They
are more
should be
polished.
working, but haven't been like extensively tested. And
Okay,
the work in progress stuff,
they are just new. Okay,
is yeah, still very much
to do on them. Makes sense.
yeah, uh, experimental, I would say.
I understand.
So yeah, for example, I if I always liked how Autodesk Forge Viewer has like this capability of taking your model elements and visually sorting them into different clusters.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm implementing that so you can extract
nice.
geometry of the model, and then you can cluster the elements. Um, and if I connect that to a
To a
3D
3D viewer.
viewer,
Yeah,
it's probably not going to work, but we're still going to see, yeah, something. Yeah, we are inside geometry here.
yeah, to close
Uh,
it.
yeah, never mind. Pretty buggy. But yeah, that's what the 3D viewer does. It gives you like a snapshot of the geometry wherever you connect it to, if it has like geometry that it can display.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say one of the workflows to get started with, if you use it the first time, is probably quantity takeoff. Drag the node in here,
That's
connect it.
the one that I first tested, to be honest.
Nice. Connect it to a loaded IFC model, and then you can basically select what quantity type you want to target. It is going to go through the model and just collect any quantity of that type. So it will get you all the areas that it finds for different for like for each build element basically.
Mhm.
Um, and then you can group it by either
Mhm.
by class, which is actually by type. I'm unsure. Let's see. By class, by level, and by material. If you press run now, you're not going to see anything. And that might be confusing for some people. Um,
Push.
but it's just the way I know I yeah I'm used to. Uh, because that's exactly how it works in like Dynamo or
In
Grasshopper.
programming, yeah, you have to publish that somewhere. Now we're just applying something that does something, but is not showing it. It's happening in the background.
Exactly. You can always open the browser console,
Hmm.
and then you see what's happening, and then you
Hmm.
can have a look at what's being calculated because it's already happening. We have beam, column, wall, slab, etc. But there's just no way to visualize it. For that, you can use the node at the bottom. It's called watch
And that's
values.
the reason why we have the output. Actually, I think it's quite intuitive to understand that
Nice.
we have different output ways.
Thank you.
Hmm. No.
Um, if you press play now, it's gonna do the whole calculation again, and it's gonna display the results in this node here. So we can see that we have a lot of slab area, not
Hmm.
very surprising, some walls, some beams that
Hmm.
should probably not be in here for the areas,
No.
but they seem to have area quantities. So yeah, they show up.
Yeah, we can apply filters. I'm thinking that here we can also do maybe some filters before, and we can have like see only the
Yes,
walls, only the slabs, only the beams and stuff like that.
you could definitely pull in a filter node.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can double click on here, and you can filter by properties. Might not be so straightforward.
What the filter?
Yeah, filter by IFC class isn't really um, exposed,
Hmm.
but it's noted.
That's great.
For the watch node, if you click on the node, have it active, you can press D to change the view. It gives you the chart view, or it gives you the actual JSON result or the output
Hmm.
that you can also copy, which is a nice way to debug and to maybe feed it into ChatGPT. Um, In the quantity node, you can always switch to another quantity type. Let's see the volumes, and I would see them by material, which I find quite insightful, depending on the model. I press the run again, it's going to think a bit longer, and then it's going to present us with this nice overview of all the materials.
Hmm.
And here, of course, the chart is probably most helpful, where we
Hmm.
can see that we have a lot of cement in this structural model.
Hmm.
Or no, actually architectural model. Surprising. Seems to be a lot of concrete here.
Yeah, which
Um,
should have been maybe more in structural, yeah, not necessarily in architectural. But yeah,
we can actually, these are the BIM Collab example models, and they do have a structural model.
yeah, let's have a look at that one.
Yes. So yeah, okay. Here we have a lot of concrete.
Yeah,
Um,
no surprise and steel.
Yeah, and then they assigned copper
Copper.
pipes to the
Okay.
foundation. I
Yeah.
know that because I know that model.
You know the model, yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Mm. Can I ask you something
Um,
ongoing? Because I
yes.
think it would make sense now. Frederick Bosche or Bosche is asking, what's the IFC engine library behind this platform?
Um,
IFC OpenShell?
yes. And also Engine Web IFC. So especially the whole IFC output that we haven't seen yet. You can export IFCs, happens through IFC OpenShell, and a lot of the model visualization, 3D stuff is using Engine Web IFC. That is basically the parsing engine of that open company. So I would say both work in tandem.
Hmm.
IFC OpenShell is great at working like with the full depth of the IFC schema,
Hmm.
and for example, modifying some properties and saving the same file again with proper attribution of ownership, etc. Is or at least I'm using IFC OpenShell for that. Um, and on the other side, Web IFC is great at visualizing stuff. It works
In the
great in
web.
the browser.
Hmm.
It's very fast. Both
That's amazing.
libraries are open source and actively maintained. Um, that's why, in order to enable IFC 4x3, it's basically just a matter of updating to the newest Engine Web IFC version.
Uh-huh. I understand. Makes sense. That's
Yes.
great. Stefano is asking if the available quantities are if this output, the quantity takeoff stuff, it's reading the available quantities or it calculates them using
It's
IFC OpenShell.
it's reading.
Mhm.
Um, there is no calculation as of now. Could definitely be done.
Maybe via the extract geometry or something like that. Or yeah.
The thing is, this would only work for very small models.
Aha.
So I
Okay.
would definitely have, yeah, people should head over to Bonsai and
And just use Bonsai
use
for
the
that.
function there. It's probably way easier.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if we finish this small little workflow that we have here,
Yeah,
where we
sure.
got all the material quantities, we'd probably want to export that. CSV makes sense to me here. If I run it again, it is gonna download that CSV file. Um, no, I can't open it here. But yeah, it downloaded a nice
Yeah, that we
CSV
can
file.
share with somebody
Yep,
about some specific information.
exactly. Um, you could also export to Excel, to JSON. And if you're working or if you're actively changing stuff in the IFC, you might want to export to IFC.
Oh,
I've also started working with like browser
GLTF?
geometry stuff, but that is still experimental, I would say.
Mhm. Okay, that's great.
If we have a look at like the rest of what's available. We've talked about most of the nodes already, I would say. There is a classification node that actually allows you to uh, get and set classification from an IFC model. So you can analyze what kind of IFC classification are inside a model. But what might be more helpful is that you can take an IFC, have a look at its properties, and if maybe they put IFC classification in the wrong property, you can read that data, feed it into the classification node, set classification, and output a new IFC where you kind of do some data juggling and uh, I would say get classifications at the data entry point where they are actually needed or something like that. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, a niche
One quick
problem.
thing, if I may jump in. I think this is a great moment. I have a question that I would like to ask, but before this, I would love to hear from you guys. Which use cases do you see and you think you could use this tool for? I would love to give me some examples. Like what is the first thing? Because for me it was I thought about a few things. First was to use for QTO, quantity takeoffs, but also to modify some things. For example, property sets or stuff like that. And I'm thinking how you can also maybe use this tool as a BIM coordinator to validate it, to understand its quality and so on. I think that would be my goal to use it for. I love to hear your ideas as well. And now let me ask you the question from Balash Takash. How reliably does it work with infrastructure models like roads and tunnels?
Um, I would say very reliably. Once I update
Upgrade to
and
IFC
we have
4x3.
4x3. Um, why I'm confident to say that is that both IFC libraries that I'm using are very mature. Engine Web IFC and also IFC OpenShell haven't been created yesterday, and they are well maintained by, I would say, well-respected figures in our industry. Um, and that's yeah, the phrase that comes to mind is standing on the shoulders of giants. I am not building everything myself. I am reusing what other people were kind enough to put out in the open, uh,
Yeah.
in the spirit of open source. But yeah, also I would say even larger models should work fine. It depends a bit on your machine, and you do need some patience. Everything happens locally on your machine. No IFC file leaves your machine. It gets processed inside the browser in a so-called WebAssembly. Which is encapsulated and no data can go out. I do have some very basic analytics, but that's basically just letting me know if people run into errors and stuff, so I can fix them. Not much else.
Thanks.
So yeah, you mentioned possible use cases. One more thing that I realized is useful is when you work with like the kind of invisible elements that tend to not be so accessible in IFC viewers.
IFC relationships.
IFC relationships, but even like the spatial stuff,
Uh-huh.
IFC building, story, and also spaces. And I have added a Python node, which basically lets you do nearly anything you want to inside the Python node. And I've prepared a little script that analyzes the spaces inside a model and gives like, oops, sorry, gives an overview of like spatial decomposition. Um, if you have a look at the code, it's using IFC OpenShell, so you can use IFC OpenShell in here. You have to adhere to some stuff like you have to use model equal IFC file, etc., because that's just the way it's set up. This is described down here and also extensively in the help section. So if you want to work with the Python node, definitely check that out. Or copy paste and feed it into ChatGPT. He is good at IFC OpenShell too, or it, I should say.
Yeah.
If I connect this workflow here to a watch value, we can actually run it and I'll explain what it does. It goes through the model and it just checks all the spaces and It gives you like the names, etc. This model only has two spaces and one story. It's like the sample model um, or one of the sample models from Building Smart. But if I actually take one that has many rooms in them or many IFC spaces and run again, it is gonna take a bit longer, but the data is gonna be a bit more interesting, hopefully. It is taking a while.
Mhm. It's okay.
Yeah, it just has a lot of spaces,
Hmm.
95 spaces, 5 zones, and 6 stories. So it is gonna eventually spit out a result here, which lets you then analyze the whole spaces in depth, and also gives like a small program that's just what I in this Python node. So that's basically this code, what it produces. Of course, you are free what you come up with here. So there's lots of possibilities how you can actually put like your data pipeline where you get some values, do some intelligence, and maybe export to IFC or maybe export to CSV if you're interested in the actual data. Um, this might not seem very useful at first because you think, well, I can just run it locally. But where the real value comes in is that you can save this workflow.
Mm.
You can either save it to the online library, where we could say space analysis or something like that. I can save it as a workflow, then it's just inside the library. Um, but I do have like this preset panel. So if you select that one, it will go there. You can add more tags. Maybe you want space or something like that.
Mhm.
Then you have that. You should have. Yeah, if
There
you
you go.
refresh.
Yeah, okay. That's great. All right. We are gathering a lot of questions. So let's move through the other nodes because there are few which I'm very, very interested about. If you go to nodes on the left hand side.
Yes.
So if we go to relationships and analysis and data transformation and also
Yep.
extract geometry and transform, what these things are. I'm very, very excited to learn more about them.
I have one more, a bit more elaborate workflow that I can show. What it does is it, for each element, it looks up the room that this element is contained in, and it writes the room name into a custom piece set. That is like, I would say that gives like a pretty broad overview of what is possible here.
Uh-huh.
Um, and the way that works is, I hope it works.
It's okay. It's still an open workshop, so uh,
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
can,
things
yeah,
to improve
that's my
always.
excuse. Let's wait until it's loaded. Um, what we can do is it's doing nearly the same thing that we did in Python before.
Mhm.
It uses IFC OpenShell. Oops, wrong node. So yeah, analysis. It can or it is gonna give you all the room assignments. So for each element, it will tell you or for each room, it will tell you what elements are contained in it. And there's also some different workflows here that we can, or variants here that we can quickly have a look at. I, yeah, the watch node is useless here.
Yeah, because you get the report exactly.
I'm, I'm not, yeah, to be honest, I haven't checked. Yeah.
There we go.
It's quite nice. So for each room, it gives you like the elements that are contained in there. And if you switch to, for example, space metrics, it's gonna do a similar thing,
Mm.
but it analyzes what IFC spaces are actually inside the model, and it's gonna give you some feedback on that.
Mm-hmm.
Circulation is a pretty specific one where it gives you the ratio of what are actual rooms that are like occupied and are only circulation like the stairs, etc. And occupancy will give you a full overview of the occupancy that is inside the model. You can have occupancy per space, and it allows you to get things like average density per person, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
and the total occupancy of the building, stuff like
Yes.
that.
Do you see any potential integration with the LCA tool? Are there
Yes, yep,
any overlap?
definitely. You could get like model data here, see what kind of materials you have in there, maybe do some intelligence with it, and build your sustainability workflow like that. Yes.
Uh, IDS comes to mind as well. I think you should also have maybe a node idea for IDS to load IDS, to run IDS, to see the report from IDS in the same tool. That would be amazing for me as a BIM coordinator. And maybe something I'm thinking like an audit node that helps you to validate, to see, to check different things, to see if you have the correct classifications of your model objects,
Yep.
to check for clash detection.
Yep.
Maybe this kind of, I don't know, just
Yes.
throwing ideas out there, like for like, how do we validate the models if they are good or not, and
Yep.
to also to have a nice output, which is not necessary. Maybe it can be BCF, maybe it can be just a dashboard, how
Yeah.
bad our model is actually, uh, or running the IDS and also having a visualization of the IDS report, like a dashboard or a pie chart or something like
Oh
this
yeah.
is how bad is your. I don't know if it's possible. I think everything is possible, of course, but I don't know
Yep.
how this would fit. But just throwing stones to you.
Yeah. I'm catching them. Um, so yeah, if we have time, I'll quickly run through here. Or do we have a lot of questions?
We have many questions and we get more and
Okay,
more.
let me. We'll do a next. I'll show the
We can do
workflow, the
another
full
one. We can
workflow
do
in the next.
another
Yes.
one. Yeah. So maybe here it is better if you just cover the nodes that you didn't cover so far.
Yep. Um, what don't we have yet?
Extract geometry. What exactly does that?
Extract geometry. If we get like a simple IFC file and then connect a watch node, I think it should work. I will go to JSON. Yes. So basically here, you get a lot of geometry related data for all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't calculate yet, but you can press the use actual geometry, and then it will use IFC OpenShell geometry
Mm-hmm.
kernel to actually extract the geometry. And what I'm working on here is then either clustering them or
Uh-huh.
transforming them.
Okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
so
So
you
that's the
could
idea.
move your whole model elements to like some other area to, for example, solve georeferencing issues.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. Let me know
Or the
when you
cluster
made more
elements
progress with
is
this.
basically that's more like a visual, playful thing where I just thought it would be cool to be able to cluster the elements
Mm-hmm.
depending on like on different properties and stuff.
But you
But
have
it's
access to IFC
okay.
patch through IFC OpenShell, right? Couldn't
Yes.
there be a node like IFC patch node where you can just apply the patches from the IFC
Oh yeah.
patch? Because that's something that I deal a lot with, for example. And I like that's very, and maybe I don't know how georeferencing, if georeferencing could work with the same, I'm not sure, but yeah, maybe it can be under the same umbrella.
Would it be one node
I'm
called
thinking yes,
IFC
like
patch,
yeah,
and
IFC
then you could
patch
drag it in and you could
and
select
use
which
different
patch.
recipes. Each recipe that you want to
Yeah,
use, and then use it like you do it in Bonsai, but you don't in Bonsai. So
that's gonna be really easy. I'm kind of bummed that I haven't thought of that myself.
that's why we have discussions, Louis. That's how inspiration comes. That's why I love this course, and especially those where more people are involved. They are extremely inspiring.
Yes. Um, so yeah, that's basically the state of I would say the geometry stuff. And
Hmm.
also I I don't really see this in connection to IFC because exporting that data like those clustered elements to IFC would be a pain
Yeah.
to say it bluntly. But I do work on GLB or GLTF, which are like geometry formats that browser can handle really easily.
Hmm.
And that would, for example, allow to use it as a visualization only. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Makes sense.
I haven't really talked about relationships.
Now, what's the idea behind it? What is?
Relationships is gonna allow you to see what's contained in something. So, for example, the space thing we had a look at before, those elements are contained in spaces. So the idea is to allow working with different relationship types. As you can see, also like if something is voiding, for example, a slab, if
Yeah.
it's like avoiding thing in the model, it's gonna allow you to see what it's connecting to
Hmm.
and from to be able to work with the IFC relationships. But still very much work in progress.
Hmm.
That data transform, I'm gonna show that next time. That's pretty complicated.
Okay.
It basically it's a helper node that allows you to work with data that you can that you if you use the analysis, um, it's gonna give you a list where each room has all the elements in them, but for sometimes you want it the other way around. You want for each element you want to know the room.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So this node does a lot of data transformations. For those that have worked with Grasshopper and also Dynamo,
Hmm.
there's the equivalent there. I don't remember. I think they call it like list operations and stuff,
Okay.
where you can basically reorder the data
Yeah.
so that you can work with it. I think that's it.
Hmm. Wow, this looks very impressive. I have to say, like I,
Thanks.
I'm sure we see history being written in the front of our eyes, and I think this is going to be huge. And I tell you why. I work with bonsai every day. I help people working with bonsai every day. And working with bonsai is not so easy. This thing, I tested it. It seems too simple, too easy to use. So I think it has an amazing, bright future. Amazing, amazing work. What I can say, like amazing work to use other amazing projects and to build something else. It's amazing. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Thanks for the kind words.
Really looking forward to how what this is going to become and to how this is going to empower OpenBIM projects. Now I'll go to comments because there are many of them. So Jonathan Jacobson, quickly see, like a use case, quickly see revisions, versions between models would be useful for contractors. Revision compare, I completely agree. That would be amazing. To be honest, in Bonsai right now, when you compare two different models, it's not very easy and straightforward to use. That would be amazing. So yeah, this is more like a feature recommendation and use case at the same time. Olivia Tristaro is asking, can we upload a specific classification? I think this is more like you have another tool about this, right? You have the IFC classifier, which is more specifically built for that, but I'm not sure.
Yes, true. What you can do, or the only input right now, besides the IFC, is actual. It's just a parameter node, where you can basically just give like some kind of text. So there's or a number or whatever that you could potentially use to set some kind of property. But there is no option to import like tabular data. But it's a good idea.
Thanks,
It would
Olivia.
allow to have like your classification data, or let's not use classification because yes, you could use
IFC classifier.
ifcclassify.com. It's way easier probably.
Hmm.
Um, But to go back like to the LCA example, if you have materials that you use in your country for like to perform LCA, you could have a list of those. You could bring them in and then assign them to the model or do whatever.
Hmm.
Um, yes, definitely helpful.
Okay. Hey guys, before I read the next question or the next text, tell me something. Do you like what you see? Are you as excited as I am? Because I'm really, I see a very, very bright future for this. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Jordan Sweet, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Otherwise, please forgive me. I love this. This makes it really easy to get information out of the model for further down the chain. Checking, validating, extracting without opening the IFC. The validation of the model is important, but I love the ease of use for the user. I completely agree. I completely agree. Exactly. Like this
Thanks.
is extremely important. So yeah, amazing. Stefano is asking something very important, which I was also wondering about. Can it load multiple IFC files, models, or not
Yes,
yet?
it can.
Okay,
Um, you can drop multiple IFCs.
separately, so not in within the same node.
Yes. But it is kind of limited of what you can do afterwards. I have
Mhm.
an architectural model here and an MEP.
Exactly.
So you could do like you could have like separate analysis for both models here. And then you could, for example, bring the data together and have like one unified report. Totally doable, especially like with Python node. So you would just do the quantity takeoff here. You'd do it up there, and then you can put like a Python node and bring these two strings together and an output that you can save as CSV. And then you have built. What you cannot do is export them to IFC. What also isn't gonna fully work is like doing geometry operations on both.
Hmm.
So what isn't enabled right now is to do like clash detections with two different models. It would definitely be possible,
But it would
but
require a big amount of work to implement something like this, I guess. But it's technically possible and feasible, right?
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of limited, but test it out,
Hmm.
see what works and what doesn't.
Okay,
I
but do you
haven't
see?
tested that fully.
Okay, great. Not technically possibly to load more files in the same node, or no reason for that? Like, what is the like, or just not yet?
Um, I do think I'll keep it separate, um, because that's pretty much how the logic works in IFC. You tend to work
Uh-huh.
with, if you do like get set operations, you usually want to work with one model.
Okay,
If you do have a good workflow, feel free to bring it up, and I'll
okay,
be more than happy to think about it.
okay, great. Piotr Novak, similar use cases as Dynamo, filter model, correct, modify properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly we discussed about this. Frederick again. Many use cases related to validation, compliance checking, QTO, etc. Great. Also him again, other use case, model enrichment using the Python node maybe.
Yep.
For sure, for sure. Olivia, can we also do 5D cost next to QTO?
Not currently. Um, I haven't really gotten into the whole cost, and
Module in
also,
IFC Potential.
yeah, and also the task
Mhm.
thing. But it does interest me.
So
So
maybe sometimes in the future.
yes, I might look into that. I do see a lot of potential there. Would be really cool to bring in a CSV, and to have like costing, or also to produce like Gantt charts with the IFC file where you see the work schedule, etc.
Mhm.
Um, nice
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. Thanks, Olivia. Michael Bucha, I have a small note for developer. I strongly recommend enabling the ability to select a custom property for any grouping of or filtering. I don't know if this makes sense for you and what do you think about
Yes,
this? Yeah.
um, definitely. I realized just now, that the property is filtering is quite limited. Still, you
Mhm.
cannot target IFC classes, etc. I'm gonna have a look at that. Thanks.
Mhm. Thank you, Michael. Valentin Billets, would be cool to pack backup JSON in a similar way JS1 does for Grasshopper. And he has a link to a GitHub repository.
Oh,
Not
I
sure
look
if.
into that.
Okay.
Thanks.
You'll find it as a comment. So from
Yes.
Valentin Billets.
Cool.
Jordan again, would be great if you can make a corporate account and host the Python codes.
Oh, so you could share them inside
Yeah,
of your team.
company-wide or something like that.
Yeah, and also like the presets and stuff.
Could be something, but you will need account for that. Or you need account anyway to look. No, you don't need account to
No, you
use this.
don't need an account, but we could have like a team feature
Mm-hmm.
where you could invite people to your team, or all like with the same
Mm-hmm.
email address of your company or something like that. Yes, and that would be that solves the problem of sharing
Mm-hmm.
the workflow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Frederick, a great system of engagement focus. Well done. I'm not sure if you mean my shoutouts to encourage the audience to comment, but thank you if that's what you mean. Miguel Fabregues, I guess this tool, I see this tool as an easy way for different types of users to have access to the data. I completely agree. Like this is this is what is missing around IFC, the complexity, like the simplicity. Everything is complex around IFC, and this helps makes things simpler. And that's one of the reasons I love it. I love it. Piotr, again, speaking about multiple IFC, it will be great to have ability to check location of elements from one model inside rooms from another. Not sure
Yes.
that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Balaji, great demo. Any integration for IDS rule-based checking possible right now or plans to integrate? I don't
Nothing
think it
right
has.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you've brought it up,
Yeah, I think this
it's
would be
on the list.
amazing. This would help me. Like I would be very extremely interested in using this myself and promoting it. So
And the
for
plus or like the unique selling point would be not having to open Bonsai, right?
yeah, not the dashing or like regarding bonsai. Another thing that I heard a lot of friction for is because it has to be installed in so many systems that many people don't cannot have access to install new tools on their computers.
Hmm.
So for this kind of, not because
Yeah.
I use it, I love it. It's an amazing tool. I support it, but it would be amazing. Like it's the friction is inexistent, non-existent with this. You just go to the website and you do it. So amazing, yeah.
The reason why I'm asking is it's just gonna be the same as there.
It's
I'm not
okay.
gonna
It's
invent
not a
it. I'm
problem.
just gonna use what Dion was kind enough to
Yeah.
provide, and the report is gonna look the same as in Bonsai.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's perfect. I would love that personally, and I'm sure others as well.
Cool.
Andrei Likanin is asking, where is the code executing on the cloud or locally?
All locally, um, all through WebAssembly, um, and in WebAssembly through Pyodide for the IFC Python stuff. And that is totally encapsulated on your machine. So nothing ever leaves your machine.
Right. And Guyen is asking, do you have any plans to combine this one with IFC classifier?
Nope.
No.
They will stay separate. I do think they serve a different
Purpose,
purpose.
scope, yeah.
Um, Also, IFC classifier is a bit more mature. It's not really that much older,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems to be at a level where things don't move as fast anymore, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean nothing is happening,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is a bit more fluent, and I'm a bit more dynamic here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree. I like this concept, like have a tool that does something as close as possible to the perfect, to yeah, do it for perfectly right. And some use cases just don't really make sense to combine them.
yeah,
Um, on the other hand, I see the IDS example. The IDS tool is very basic that you have. You have also the other the IDS tool where you can check a model, right? I see that as being very easy to implement that in this workflows. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I talk about the
I'm
IDS checker where you check your model against an IDS.
true. I am working on something separately there. Um,
Okay. You work to develop that further to add some things that make sense to keep it separate.
um, it's a new thing.
Something else.
Basically,
Okay.
the limitation of the model checker, as it is right now, for those who don't know what we
Mhm.
are talking about, modelcheck.opensource.construction, you can drop an IFC here, and you can then drop any IDS here that you like, and then it's just gonna do like an automatic test of the IDS against the IFC. But it does it only for one file.
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And if you have like many files and many different ideas, you're gonna sit here for quite a while. And yeah, ideas seems faulty here. So what I'm working on is something new that will be quite powerful, and it allows you to have like a continuous model quality assurance pipeline that you can set up for many models and many IFCs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I love that. I would love that. So let me know when you have it. I'm gonna dig into that. Um, Something, this is from me. Okay. Um, what about having something about AI, an AI node, either something that is standalone that you can connect to an API, to an AI API that you can then use into different workflows. I would love that. If this is not possible, then at least to make a node or something to make a connection to N8N platform.
Mhm.
But it would be amazing if you had just have something that is possible to just feed in an ChatGPT, OpenAI API or Claude or some whatever, doesn't matter, any kind of API that you can use then to do different things with the model. That would be nuts.
I like it. To be honest, I'm unsure how
Like to write code, Python code, right in the same place, or maybe to quickly analyze a model for something specifically for you.
yeah, I'm getting some ideas, and it's actually not that hard anymore. You can move pretty quick here too
Yeah.
with today's
So
tooling.
you can have by default maybe integrated with some free APIs that there are some free API tools, and then also have the option for users to add their own API. That would be amazing because I personally I use the paid API for some things, and I would love to do that.
Ah, I'd even be comfortable with using a cheap model of OpenAI. I'm doing that with some other stuff.
Yeah,
That
but
if you
you
don't
can do
have
that.
thousands of users,
No, no,
it's not
no.
going to be too
For
bad.
sure, but you can also have like Gemini 2.5
True.
Flash or whatever, which is
Yeah,
free, and
true.
there are others, few ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be extremely powerful from my point of view. I would play with that a lot, and I will
But
promote everything I play with.
what comes to mind is like to have like even a chat like interface
Hmm.
where you could load a model and then you could interact with like a chat node
Yeah.
that knows everything about the model,
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
about IFC OpenShell.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just some ideas.
Yes.
Okay. And Nguyen is asking us again something else. Whether it runs fast or slow depends on the browser the user is using. I guess so, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Mhm. Okay. Jordan, the last comment, and then I will refresh and see if it's anything else, and we can wrap it up. Jordan is again saying, is there any documentation available so I can bring this further under my users? If not, I am open to help you write it. But you showed in the beginning something, yeah. I'm not sure
Feel
how
free to
detailed it
check
is.
out like under the help menu, the documentation tab. Um, then also there is some stuff in the repo. I do have a pretty extensive README, I would say. So definitely have a look through that. And very I'd be very happy if you feel that you can contribute something. Very open to that. Feel free to reach out.
Okay, amazing. Um, yeah, guys, what can I say? Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you very much, Louis, for your amazing work and sharing and helping us to use these tools. It's amazing. Miguel says that this is a great idea of the chat node, so it will look great. I agree. Thank you everyone for everything. If you like what we do, if you like our work, if you want to support our work, just go to bimvoice.com. I launched recently BIM Voice Academy, which is something that you might be interested in. That's a great way you can support my work, especially, and everyone else I'm working together with. So thank you very much for spending this time with us. And yeah, go open BIM.
Thanks for having me.